So there's two. I keep forgetting. I should have probably wrote all this out because I keep forgetting certain things that I need to tell you guys. So, when we first started dating, because I want y'all to have the full picture. I want you guys to have the full picture of everything. I want y'all to know everything. So when we first got together, this is just to show like his controlling factors. When we first got together, mind you, I went to school in the AUC. I was at Clark Atlanta. I was involved in a ministry that was mixed with all of the schools: Clark Atlanta, Spelman, Morehouse, right? So I had a lot of friends from Spelman and Morehouse. And my friends from Morehouse were like brothers to me. Okay. I was really close to them. I was really close to, my friends from Spelman as well. Really, really close to them. And because we did everything together. We spent all of our time together. We prayed together. We were always together. We were super close. And so when I got in a relationship with my ex, and he became aware of how close I was to my brothers, he told me, those aren't your real brothers. They don't care about you. They're not your real brothers. And he made me cut my relationships with my Morehouse brothers. He made me and he didn't convince me of anything, because I knew what the relationships were with my brothers. I knew the dynamics of our relationships, but it was a matter of me wanting to, I guess, please him or keep peace in my relationship. I was invited to one of my brother's weddings, and I had all the intention of going to the wedding, obviously. And it created so much turmoil in my relationship. I had to cancel my trip out there for the wedding. And I didn't know what to say. I can't come because my boyfriend won't let me. Like, what do you say to that? My husband won't let me? Whatever. Yeah. Also, what I forgot to tell you guys is, I know the last video I was explaining to you how the Myrtle Beach thing and the restaurant thing where he told me he was cheating on me. During that time, which started in 2013, we moved a little bit south of Atlanta. And the reason why we moved is because we became youth ministers at a local church. We were asked to become the youth ministers at a small church. And so at this time, 2013, all the way up until 2015, 2015. So a couple years, he was the youth pastor at a church, and, obviously I served with him as his wife. Okay. So while he was ministering at this church, we still had the domestic violence in the home. We still had the verbal abuse. It would still be a matter of, me getting up on stage and leading worship, and then going home to, my husband, who just preached to these kids, who just ministered to these kids, and then goes home and treats me like crap. Goes home and slings me all around the house and calls me names and all this stuff. So I want to give you guys that context to kind of understand like what we were doing at the time, what our relationship was like. And don't get me wrong, because I'm focusing a lot on the bad, but I want you guys to understand that an abuser, there's a cycle to it. And because there's a cycle, that's how you're able to, as the victim, to continue on in the relationship. So the cycle kind of looks like, in the beginning, it's the honeymoon, and this is a cycle. It keeps going, it keeps revolving. Honeymoon phase. He is everything that you dreamed of. He's everything that you want him to be. He is loving. He is affectionate. He is thoughtful. He is generous. He's charming. He's the all stand, whatever it is. He's a stand-up guy. People also love him, but that we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So they call that the honeymoon phase. Like, it is the best phase to be in. It is literally perfect. Like, all of your worries, all of your doubts, they're gone out the window, because this phase trumps everything that you've been through. Like, it trumps it, okay? Then comes the freaking hurricane. The hurricane comes. And in this phase, it looks different for different people, but it is the worst part. It is the scariest part. When I think of hurricane, I think of not only things flying around, but you're wet, you're uncomfortable, you're gasping for air, like you're trying your best to survive, and you don't know. Like, you don't know. Like, you don't know when your last, like, breath is gonna be. So yeah, the hurricane phase, it consists of, for me, is when he blew up. 0 to 100, doesn't matter what it is. Can't really pinpoint what his triggers are. It's more of a matter of when he feels like it, to be honest. House is not clean, thinks I'm talking to somebody else. There are situations where coming into the marriage, I had an addiction to porn. And so there were situations where he would find stuff on my computer, like search history of pornography. I would get beat for that. Also, I would get beat and slung around for my Facebook. I was recently out of a relationship before meeting him, and I would go on Facebook, and because my ex-boyfriend before my ex-husband ended up getting quickly. The reason why he broke up with me is to be with another girl. And so clearly, any female knows, like, we want to see who this girl is. Like, we want to see what y'all life is like. Like, we want to see what's going on. We want to see the wedding. We want to see the pictures. We want to see everything. And so I would go on Facebook and look at his stuff to see, like, who this girl is, to see what their life is like, because you left me for her. I want to see. I would get beat for that. So I would get beat for my Facebook history. I would get beat for my Google search history. It just doesn't matter what it is. Saying something sly, having attitude, house not clean, whatever. He would get upset and he would blow up. So after the honeymoon phase, it's that phase where, like, you know, he's like crying and he's asking for forgiveness. He promises never to do it again. I'm so sorry. This is what I'm going to do to change. You know, it really hurt me because you did X, Y, and Z. You were looking at your ex's page. You were looking at porn. You were whatever it was. Like, it was my fault that he did what he did, but he was the one apologizing. So, really strange. But then when it cycles back to that honeymoon phase, it's just like, okay, this is great. Like, I like this phase. Give me more of this phase and we'll be okay. So yeah, I have so much more to say. This needs to be 20 minutes long. I have so much more to say. All right, the next part is coming.